Assalamu alaikum. I am Daud from the Department of Peace and Conflict Studies. Before presenting, I want to thank my honorable teacher Sabir Ahmed Chaudhary for giving a chance to make this presentation. Today's topic is the activities of Transparency International Bangladesh for human rights. For understanding my presentation, firstly, we should know what human rights is. Human rights indicates those rights what should get every man and woman as a human being. Basically, the policy advocacy sector of TIB works for human rights. Now we have to know what policy advocacy is. Advocacy encompasses a wide range of activities that influence decision makers. Advocacy includes traditional activities such as litigation, lobbying, public education. It can easily include capacity building, relationship building, forming networks, and leadership development. Policy generally refers to social policy. Policy advocacy refers to advocacy tactics, strategies, initiatives which target changes to policies and litigation. These advocacy initiatives seek to establish new policies, improve existing policies. Now we will discuss about the activities of policy advocacy sector of TIB. TIB doesn't work directly for human rights, but their work is very effective to protect human rights. It uses policy advocacy to protect human rights by reducing corruption. TIB thinks that anti-corruption and human rights affect each other. It uses policy advocacy to protect human rights by reducing corruption. Almost every sector in our country, people are deprived from their rights because of corruption. If we all work with transparency and accountability, then the rights of someone won't be violated. TIB basically works for human rights in policy advocacy sector. It uses policy advocacy in 5 sectors. Number 1, health. 2, education. 3rd, local government. 4th, land issues. And finally, 5th, awareness. In the health sector, health is most important rights of human being. When corruption is happened in the health sector and poor people don't get their rights, then human rights is violated. TIB try to ensure the rights of people by reducing corruption from health sector. To protect human rights, they try to raise the right information in front of people. People is being aware to protect human rights for this policy, and thus they try to ensure human rights. In the education sector, as a human being, we have to right to get proper education, but not having sufficient facilities and awareness of authority, the right of education is being violated. Here, TIB try to make a model school by their own finance, and they request the government to accept this policy and suggest to convert every school like this model school. For this policy advocacy, the right of education is being protected, and they try to ensure the rights of education for every man and woman. TIB uses policy advocacy in local government sector. That is, they create a situation which people and their leader come face to face. Their people know their rights, and their leader show that how he want to work for the people. For this policy, people can protect their rights. In information sector, TIB thinks that the rights of information is precondition to protect human rights. The most important part of policy advocacy is to increase awareness among general people. If we don't know what is our right, then simply our rights will be violated. So TIB always try to ensure our rights by reducing corruption, and always try to show our rights to us, and they try to increase our awareness. At last, we can say that though TIB don't work for human rights directly, but their work is very effective to protect human rights, specifically the work of policy advocacy sector. Thank you all. That's all for me.